Hello friends, my pleasant and humble wishes. Myself, I am Dr. Niti Aayog. I am MSc MPhil in Physics. Right now, I am going to handle Indian Polity, which is actually very useful for Union Public Service Commission exam. It is not only useful for UPSC exam, but also it will be very helpful for various other civil service examination also, for state public service, etc. etc. But right now, through over this class, I would like to complete the topic based on UPSC and its question pattern, and throughout our class we will also get discussed with various previous year questions along with the concepts, right? Okay, I have been teaching for students more than 8 years in this field, so I would be happy to represent you also, and also I am very happy to teach you all polity. Let us move to the topic. Okay, Indian polity. Let me start this topic with few basic questions. Why we want topic? Why we want this polity? What it is? How it came? When it was? Right? What is Indian polity? What is that? Indian polity is nothing but the basic concept. The basic that concept that deals with our country's structure. What structure? Why we want such structure? That question arises whenever we study the polity. You might have think that why we need this polity and for exams, why it is very useless for studying. That's such a thing, and you may think, but it is actually not only useful for your exam viewpoint, but also in your lifestyle. As an Indian citizen, you should know various concepts. As an Indian citizen, you should able to understand actually what is happening in the country. Right, more than that, it will also lead us to give a prosperous way of life throughout our life. So, it is very important for us to learn about polity. Okay, polity in the sense, what is polity? As I said before, it is a structure of government. What structure? Why we need such structure? Take an example. Let us consider a family. In a family, we people will follow certain principle. Example, we will wake up early in the morning, we will brush early in the morning, we will make our things that we have to do, all our works. We will, if we want to study, we will keep all the schedules, we will follow that schedules, everything, etc. etc. And father will go on earn, mother will do all those houseworks, we will learn, we will study, such thing. It is actually a structure for a home, for a house. Consider a game, hockey or football, anything else. It will have specific rules and regulation. Why we need such rules and regulation? Thus, rules and regulation is very necessary for a game to be conducted in a proper way. It should be noted, if anyone is going to breach these rules and regulation, they will be given penalty or they will be get rid from the game. Such thing will be happen in a very conscious manner. Why we need such things? What is it actually? Because consider if the family is not going to be in a specific rule, we may all live in some other like animal format, not will be in the human form. Similarly, the game that we are used to watch, if it is not going to be in a specific, in a perfect manner, we won't watch it. Correct? In the same way, even after all a single family, a single game needs such rules and regulation. Consider about India. India is a vast, diverse country. Diverse in the sense, it is diverse in what? Religion, region, caste, language, soil, climate, etc. So, here I would like to say the religion, region, caste, everything is actually linked with polity. You may think that what soil and climate is playing here. What it is actually doing? What else is doing? Why I am linking this soil and climate in polity? Because the climate actually determines our way of life, our character actually. How? Consider if you are moving in a very hot day. Sunday, as a very hot sunny day at 2 p.m. The sun was the degree was nearly 40 or 45 degrees Celsius. Consider how will you feel? Feel very irritated. Similarly, consider the IT field, IT professions, etc. They will actually work in a AC air conditioned room. Why they are working in such a condition? Because that condition will give us a peace of mind. Okay, so what are you getting from this? Climate is actually determining our character. India has various types of climate. It have cold desert, hot desert, it have tropical rainforest or evergreen forest, etc. It's such a type of climate. We have various type of climate, hot, cold, everything. So, our people will have different types of character also. In a family of 5 members, they will have different characters which will take a very long time to consider, give a suggestion among 5 people. What about the country? We have a vast country with different characters of people which is actually differentiated with all those ideas. They will have different mentality, different ideas, different caste, etc. etc. How can we link them together? Only way we can link them together is through constitution, which is actually Indian polity. What is constitution? So, in order to link the people in all those ideas, we need constitution. Okay, so constitution, that is the important one. What is constitution? In a family, I said we need specific rules and regulation. In a game, we need rules and regulation. Similarly, in a country also we need rules and regulations. So, this constitution is actually derived from Indian polity. Why do we need this? Because we need this to form in a perfect structured way. Our country should be in a perfect structured way. What it is? It is rules and regulation. How we get this? We get this through constitutional law-making members. Actually, during British regime, that during our freedom struggling time, we ourselves form a law committee. Through that, we constitute ourselves the constitution, which is actually giving merit for India. So when it was given to us during November 26, 1949, we got the constitution. Okay. This is the constitution backup. Now, let me give you an idea about how I am going to teach the polity. In what way that we are going to study this polity, right? So, I would like to start this with historical backup. Why we need this? Through this we can get a basic general idea that where we get this constitution, how we get this constitution, what are the sources of our constitution, right? Then I would like to teach the salient features, then about preamble, then about various articles. Article is actually very necessary for constitution because it is actually repeatedly asked in various formats. So articles from 1 to 50 is actually a very easier thing. Then that we can refer it with important concept based articles. So union and territory and citizenship, then fundamental rights, fundamental duties, directive principle of state policy, and etc. So this will be led. Then actual amendment, about amendment procedure, and then about Jammu and Kashmir, and similarly how states are formed, what are the patterns of state form, in what way we get we given the statehood, state formation. Okay. We will learn this in Union Territory also, but here I will give an explanation about Jammu Kashmir specifically, right? Okay. Then Jammu Kashmir, about Jammu Kashmir. Then our government pattern is actually, government is actually based on 3 wings: legislative, executive, and judiciary. So 3 wings that we legislative. What is legislature? The law making body. How we are actually making the law that is actually needed for our people, for our country to be in a structured way. And that law, how it is actually implied, how it is actually bring into force, it is done by the executive officials. Then comes the judiciary. Judiciary is one of the guardian for our constitution, which actually check through the legislature and executive whether they are doing it work in a perfect manner or not, whether they are breaching the constitution. If they are going to breach constitution, they will strike down the laws that they have made. Similarly, if the judiciary is going to be over the limit that they are given for judiciary, cross the limit, the legislative and executive will stop them. So what we actually get the point is, the three wings are similar. We will get all the sources that we needed for people through these three wings, and none of them is higher than the other. That is a simple concept. So here, legislature, we follow the three-tier government. Right, three-tier government. What is three-tier government? So, union government. So let me have this like this. Okay, union government, state and local government. So we are following actually three-tier government. Initially, the constitutional makeup, we have only the two-tier format. Then after, in the 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act, we actually fixed the local government. We actually inculcated the local government in our constitution. Let us see this local government in a specific chapter. And our union and state government, I would like to teach by comparing the union government and state government in each process. How it is actually, union government is parliament, here the state legislature. Right, state legislature. So union government, we have parliament. While studying about parliament, I would like to compare this parliament with state legislature. Then it consists of Lok Sabha, President and Rajya Sabha. Similarly, state legislature, we have state legislature assembly, governor, state legislature council. Okay. While studying about the local Lok Sabha, I would like to say you about the information about state legislature assembly also. In what way they both are different, what power is actually higher, and what way they have a similar concept and different concepts. I will explain it with a differentiating process. Then while studying about president, I would like to say about governor also. In what way the governor is actually different from president. Right. In what way they are similar. Who is actually having the leading capacity. Everything will be taught side by side. And also we'll say a specific class about vice president, about a prime minister. Here prime minister, while talking about prime minister, I will talk about a chief minister. And who is actually the leading capacity. While the chief minister all over the India is going to form a council, who is going to lead it? In what way they are going to lead it, etc. Such a thing will be discussed in a specific topic. Okay, so the state legislature and parliament will be compared, teacher, and the local government will also be taught in a specific class. Okay, after that we have, this is actually legislature, right? Legislature. Actually, what is legislature? It is actually the law making process. After that we have executive. In executive we have two branches, constitutional and non-constitutional. Say constitutional and non-constitutional. In what way? Constitution is nothing but the powers actually we created during the framework of during the constitutional framework itself. Example, Election Commission of India, Union Public Service Commission, State Public Service Commission, etc. are actually created while we have compiled our constitution in a mainframe. After that, after years passed, we are in need of some other powers also. So we started to inculcate some other powers. It is known as non-constitutional bodies. These both the bodies will do the executive power, which is actually deemed to be done when the law-making process did their process. After completing the law, after the law came into force, it is actually to be inculcated within the people, which is done by the executive officers. Okay, in judiciary, third branch. Judiciary, I would like to teach in a specific way that we actually following the federal form of government. The federal form of government will have a specific quality that judiciary is actually every single state will have a specific judiciary, and all over the country will have a specific judiciary. That is the actual character of federal nature. Right? It is a character of federal nature. I would like to say about what is our country's nature, what form of government we have, what is a central-state relation also, everything will also be discussed. Relation, okay, will also be discussed. Okay, in that manner, judiciary should be in some other character. But our Indian constitutional framework peoples, the freedom fighters, actually did in such a way that is actually what fit for our India. In what way they actually fixed is, we have integrated judiciary form. Integrated judiciary form. Integrated in the sense, we have the higher authority as Supreme Court. Below that we have High Court. Below that we have District Court. District Court we have two types of subordinate courts, like Magistrate Court and Magistrate and Municipal Court. Right. What it is actually, the magistrate if we have both criminal and the civil cases. If we going to handle the civil cases, it will be actually referred in municipal court. It is a lowermost court. And if our case is going to be as a criminal, then it is going to be registered in the magistrate court, which is actually the lowermost court for criminal cases. After that, it will be discussed in a district court. If the verdict is not satisfactory from the victim, he can apply for the High Court with the permission of District Court. So it will move on to the High Court. If in that too, if the victim is not going to be get satisfied, he can, with the permission of High Court, he can move to the Supreme Court. So in what way we have our judiciary is like an integrated system. Integrated system is nothing but each and every step is integrated. We will go from lower court to the higher court. In case of actual federal format, it is not in such an integrated form. It will have specific code for state as well as for whole. Right? In Canada, USA are following such a thing. But we follow the integrated form of judiciary. Okay, I will discuss about it. And through this, I can cover the legislative, executive, judiciary process. And this is my actual overall pattern. I would like to refer Lakshmikant book and Subhas Kashyap book for our classes, and also I will refer the NCERTs also for reference. And let me start this class. Let me give you an introduction about historical backup through this class. Right. So this is my pattern. This is the introduction about polity, and this is the way I am going to teach. Clear? Now I am going to talk about the historical backup. What is actually historical backup? The historical backup, as I said before, it is nothing but it will say about from where we got our constitution, what is our backup idea, from where we actually used to think about constitution, such thing. If we going to think about that, we actually had our constitutional ideas passed from the ancient Indian history. Like you might have learned in history, like ancient, medieval and modern. Okay, during modern Indian period, during the struggle, we all have all those things. What about ancient and medieval? During our ruling, our king's ruling also, we have specific pattern of life. The king gave us, monarchy gave us a specific pattern, specific rules and regulations for people. That is also very important for us. Example, consider the Rig Veda, which is actually considered to be the ancient text. Right, Rig Veda. In Rig Veda, you might have learned about Sabha Samiti, which is nothing but Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, the house of elders and lower house of peoples. It is actually referred in the Vedic period itself. Similarly, during the reign of Akbar, Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya, these are one of the greatest kings of Indian history. They also have a specific rule, specific pattern of life through which we actually led our constitution. So we led our life, our ancient peoples led our life. So we took the such ideas which is actually benefiting for Indian people and inculcated in the present constitution. So how we took? We took that it from various sources, but the major thing we referred is from modern Indian history, like from British East India Company and from British government. We took major ideas. Okay, such ideas can be discussed. Like let me start with 1773 Regulating Act. Okay, regulation. Regulation is nothing but it is the first regulation work done by the British East India Company to control its own affairs. Okay, let me give an introduction about this. It is nothing but it is the first regulation that East India Company did for themselves, because the British officials seems to be very corrupted. So in order to correct themselves, they started a regulation in 1773. Right. So after this regulation, actually British people have an ideology that after creating something, some rules and regulation, they will after a few years, say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, after a specific period of time, they will actually reconsider that thing and will analyze about the merits and demerits that is actually based on the concept they have introduced. And similarly, they did this for the regulations also. This 1773 regulation have many drawbacks, which is actually repeatedly fixed using 1784 Pitt's India Act. Pitt's Act, India Act, which is also known as Settlement Act. Right, Settlement Act. Okay. So after this we have various Charter Act, then Council Act, then Government of India Act. Okay, what it is? The initial regulation is about to regulate the British officials and to make them analyze that they actually occupied India and they are in need to rule India. That is regulation. After that, they rectified the drawbacks in the Regulation Act through the Pitt's India Act or Settlement Act. Then we have various Charter Act. Charter Act is also nothing but every 20 years they will give a revision over their act and will rectify all the drawbacks which is actually affecting the British officials, actually not Indian peoples. They will actually rectify those negativeness which is actually giving loss to the British and will give positive to the British. They will rectify it and will give again another act. So it is actually termed as a Charter Act. Important Charter Acts are 1833 Charter Act and 1853 Charter Act. Two Charter Acts are very important. Every 20 years we will have a Charter Act. 4 Charter Acts are there. Right. Then we have Council Act. Council Act is nothing but 1861 Act, 1892 and 1909. 1909 Act is also known as Morley Minto Reform, which is a communal representation for Muslims. There starts the Muslim representation, separate representation, where we actually left over our land to Pakistan and Bangladesh. So here starts the 1909. So 1861, 1892, 1909. This is our Council Act, actually which deals with the legislature executive wing, through in which we Indians are actually made to perform our duties there. They actually included Indians also through this, like a puppet Indians. They those who will hear all those instructions from British people. They actually included them here and started ruling us. So it is actually Council Act. Then we have various Government Act, like Government Act like after 1857 revolt, we have this Government Act like 1858 Government of India Act, then 1919 Government of India Act, then 1935 Government Act, 1947 Government Act. These 4 Government Act gives us various ideas about the ruling of people. Actually, since 1858, from this time, Queen Victoria have taken over the British East India Company and British rule has started. Until then, it was actually the British East India Company's rules and regulations. But 1858, from on that, the government British official have taken over the British East India Company and started the British rule over India. It is nothing different from British East India Company. It is worse than British East India Company. Then we actually analyze ourselves what is actually going on. India is only for Indians. After that, we concluded that these acts are not important. We have to create ourselves our own act which is actually benefiting Indians, not the British people. So they started learning about other constitutions, and from that they picked the important constitution actually which is needed for Indian people. Then they started compiling all those things. We actually might have heard that our constitution is mere copy from other constitution. It's such a warnings and all actually you might have heard. It is not true thing. You may know that sun will rise in the east and will set in west. It is actually universal truth. Similarly, wherever we go, the good things are universally it is a true thing. Only because they have started earlier before than this. That is the only thing. So it is not the mere copy or paste. We actually took the universal truth everywhere. We modified it according to our people's character. We compiled it as a constitution. Our constitution, one of the largest constitution, biggest constitution. Why it is we have such nature is we are having a largest constitution because of our geography, historical pattern, right? Because of our population and because of other dominion people. On geography, as I said before, we have different category of people. In order to satisfy all of them, we need specific ideas. So it has exceptions. It gave one exception. Finally, we have a big constitution. Historical concept we took from various sources, and population also, as I said before, we have different linguistic and caste people which we need to satisfy them also. We need to bring the lower caste people to the higher level, as well as we make sure to maintain the higher class people in the higher level itself, and to make all those people equal in a specific time. So we need specific information that is going to handle all those things. So goes on, our constitution increases. And dominion is nothing but we have so many people who dominated our law making committee. Actually, because of their preference, we give various restrictions for women's, children's, for SC, STs, etc., which is actually also increases our constitutional size. So our constitution has various backup, like from regulation, Pitt's India Act, Charter Act, Council Act, Government of India Act, and from this I have given the actual size. Why we have large amount of, our constitution size is very big. I have given the reason also. So this is my introduction class. I will teach all these topics through for continuous classes along with a discussion of questions also. So let me wind up here. Thank you. Bye-bye.